This is one of Stephen Sumler's great graphs and research, and this is about nuclear buildup.
Because it talks about how the Democrats once criticized Trump's profligate spending on nuclear weapons, according to the 2020 Democratic Party platform.
Which doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything, but it means they're giving lip service.
No, I know.
Again, it's the lip service.
Everything they do is lip service. I just want to remind listeners that if you are getting excited that something good is on the Democratic Party platform, it would basically be like you writing it on a piece of paper and then just setting that piece of paper on fire. Go ahead.
They would need a chapstick the size of like your kitchen counter in order to deal with all the lip service they're giving. Like their lips would just fall off. 2020 Democratic Party platform said the U.S. has a moral responsibility and national security imperative to eventually eliminate nuclear weapons worldwide. I can't even believe they said that. Democrats criticized Trump's reckless embrace of a new arms race. Quote, rather than reduce nuclear dangers, he's amplified them and brought the world closer to catastrophe. The Trump administration's proposal to build new nuclear weapons is unnecessary, wasteful, and indefensible, reducing our over-reliance and excessive expenditure on nuclear weapons. So that was 2020. Here we are 4 years later. The Biden-Harris administration has continued Trump's nuclear buildup and has spent more on nuclear weapons, both renovating them, or whatever that term is, refurbishing them, and creating
it's like
upgrading them, which is basically new ones. It's people say it's like taking the body of a car and putting a whole new engine inside. Well, it's kind of a new car in a lot of ways if you take body of a nuclear weapon and upgrade it. But now here's what the 2024 platform says: the Biden-Harris administration is modernizing each leg of our nuclear triad, updating our command, control, and communication systems, and investing in our nuclear enterprise to ensure that we can sustain and enhance, if necessary, capabilities and posture. The platform says that in the next term, Democrats will continue to invest in upgrading deterrence capabilities, such as our submarine force and the nuclear triad. So basically the polar opposite of 2020.
I'm wondering who ended up writing that or who suggested that in the 2020 platform, but I'm
probably because they had a bit of a threat from Bernie.
That's maybe what I was just going to say, is that I think it's because there was somebody that seemed like a viable, a worthy adversary, perhaps. And now that there isn't one, and when I say worthy adversary, I don't mean somebody that's good. I just mean somebody that could have a snowball's chance in hell of winning. And so I think that they don't even feel the need to sugarcoat it. I think they also feel pretty convinced and comfortable in the fact that nobody's reading their damn platform, which is another thing that just goes to show you, like, I'm looking at you liberals. What the fuck? Like, it's not good enough to just say that somebody is not Trump. A lot of people are not. Netanyahu is not Trump. Would you vote for him? Like, it's not good enough to just say that someone is not something that you are, so for some reason, have been programmed into thinking is scarier than the alternative. When you ask, and there are videos of this, like at the Democratic National Convention, there are like people walking around like, hey, what of Kamala's policies do you think are the best? And they're like, oh, I just think it's great that she's a woman. And it's like, that's not a policy.
Well, and then there's another video of like, what are your favorite achievements ever? And people just get angry. They're like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. And you're like, I'm sorry, I asked you a very basic question. I mean, how the hell can you support someone if you don't know anything about them? And that's the thing. It's like Democrats really rely, which is why they love this election. They love it because ultimately they can't really lose, because even if Trump wins, they're going to continue on their merry little genocidal way. Like nothing changes for them. And if they win, cool, that we're just going to continue doing that anyway. And so they are banking on you being afraid of Trump, and they're banking on you not paying attention to a damn thing that they say because they're banking on you being afraid of Trump. It is really, really sick. It is a psychological game. And I'm so sad that more people don't recognize that they're being played like a little flute.
Do you want to talk about this chart here?
I mean, one of the things that I love the most about Steven is that, like, he is the quintessential of picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
The graphs are just like, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's just, the first block is Obama's budget in 2017, which is $34 billion. And then in the middle, you have it's like the three little bears. In the middle,
This
you
is
have
this is
Trump's.
just, by the way, this is just the nuclear weapons budget.
Yeah. This is not like, well, people who listen to this would know that 34 billion is way too low
Yeah.
to be a military budget.
Just the it'd be military.
In the middle, there's Trump's 2021 budget, which is 48 billion. And then the next one is 53 billion, which was Biden's budget last year for nuclear buildup. And then the proposal for next year is 69 billion. So we went from 48 to 53. That's a jump of 5, right? Unless my math is total shite. And then you go from 53 to 69. Holy shit.
And 69 is exactly double the 2017 budget.
That is $16 billion. What could we buy for $16 billion? Like,
clean water
shudder to think.
Clean water for the entire world for a year. Or more than a year.
There you go.
2 years.
And that is 69 billion. That is more than $20 billion more than what Trump spent on the nuclear buildup in office. $20 billion.
So there you go. Yet another policy where the Democratic administration and the Republican administration do exactly the same while they pretend to be different. And Trump has to keep making up things about Kamala Harris that are utterly false in order to have different positions from her. He pretends she's a Marxist socialist who's...
The Democrats are then always like trying to play defense to prove how fascist they are. You know, it's like, it's an open border. And then you have the Democrats being like, look, we put a bunch of kids in cages. We've separated a bunch of families. We don't even allow refugees in anymore. And it's like, was that supposed to sound better? Was that, okay.